Hello, I'm Dinus the Mirror.
Yeah. The difference between a fetish priest and a fetish chief, all right, is that the fetish chief is working for a whole community.
Okay.
But a fetish priest is working for himself.
Repeat that one more time.
I say that Voodoo priest is different from a fetish priest. From a Voodoo chief, I mean. Let me take it again. I say that there is a difference between a Voodoo chief and a Voodoo priest. A chief is just selected by a collectivity to take care of a voodoo, and that voodoo works for the whole community. But the priest himself has his own fetishes.
So is the voodoo priest and the fetish priest the same?
No.
Okay.
The difference is that voodoo contained fetish. Do you understand? Because voodoo is anything that is beyond human explanation. But when we talk about voodoo window, okay, we talked about chiefs. You understand?
Right.
But when you have your own voodoo, your own fetish, you are priest, but you are not voodoo chief.
Okay.
You understand what we're talking about here?
Yes.
Now they are like the voodoo priest, I mean the fetish owners are considered traditional healers, traditional doctors.
Okay.
So when you have any problem of health or something like that, witchcraft on you or a curse, they are the one that will help you remove that. Do you understand?
Right. Now, is witchcraft real? Because I know a lot of people get spooked out when you mention witchcraft and voodoo.
No, that's totally different.
Okay.
And our forefathers discovered voodoo just to fight against the witchcraft.
Oh, okay.
And people were afraid of being crowned a chief before, a voodoo chief, because they were exposed to dangers, because witchcraft, they are going to fight against witchcraft. That's the real problem. So there is a total difference between witchcraft and voodoo. You understand? Now, when we say priest, I can have my own fetish and be its priest.
Okay.
In that case, we talk about Huno. Do you understand?
Yes.
But when we say
Huno's chief, right?
No, Huno is different from Huno.
Okay.
Hun is blood. Hu is ocean.
Okay.
So the other H is weak, but the second one is heavy. So a Huno is like a traditional doctor. And when you have a spiritual disease or bad luck, something like that, he can help you. And when you ask for a special service, that will do it for you.
Okay.
That's their role. They have some, they just have roles of, they have some secrets of nature, secret of leaves, and they know that when we add this to this, it must give this result. So this can be used to cure people. It can also be used to destroy enemies. Do you understand?
So then the question becomes, and I ask this all the time, and people always ask the same question. If the fetish priest is so powerful, and the voodoo is so powerful, how did the white man colonize and conquer Africa? That's the question, the elephant in the room, that's always asked. Yeah. And then the other question is, if the voodoo is so powerful, why is there poverty in Africa? Or why is there poverty in the places that practice voodoo? Even though it's consistent throughout Africa, where is the wealth? That's always the elephant in the room when you bring up voodoo and power.
Talking about colonization, you know, the city was not ruled by voodoo priests nor voodoo chiefs. Okay? The voodoo community had to do with spirituality. That's all. But we have, apart from Vodun chiefs and priests, we have kings. You understand? And kings are those who deal with politics. And now, talking about politics, they have power over the Vodun priest. Do you understand? And talking about slave trade and anything else, this has to do with the kings, not with the priest of
So
Voodoo.
Voodoo didn't have a role in the slave trade?
No,
People, okay.
nothing. And I can even tell you, during colonization, for example, before they wage war against the French people, the Ifa priest told the King Béazin not to do that because the end will be a failure. They will fail at the end. And now, the Ifa priest even said that he would be a captive and died in abroad. He will not die in Africa, in his country. But they say that Ifa used to tell the truth, but this time it will not. He didn't believe that, because for him he cannot stay quiet and see white people making rules or setting rules here in his own land. Do you understand?
Yes.
But the Vodou community, the Ifa priest was saying that the strategy, this thing will happen. When you wage war, you will lose more people than them, and it is true that they will not be able to catch you if you don't want, because you have those powers. But when you won't have any other citizen, you don't have citizen, who are you going to rule?
Right.
You understand? So the king said that effectively, because that's what the last decision Béazin will take. Because the Ifa priest say, okay, this war, if you continue, you will lose all your citizens. And the king replies, if I will lose all my citizens, so I'd better give myself to leave the citizen live a good life. That's the way he gave himself to the French people. You understand? Yeah, at last. So I just want to tell you that we are not going to confuse the Vodou community and the kingdom. You understand?
Yeah.
The kingship. Because kings has power over the Vodou community, but Vodou community can give advice. They just give advice to the kings. The kings can follow their advice, but they can also neglect their advice.
Right.
That's what happened. Because they want the King Béazin. But he was stubborn. The final result was the Ifa's words.
So again, so then why didn't the Voodoo give the king or the people the power to destroy and crush the French through war?
Don't think that they didn't use. The war was not so easy. And French people can witness that. They have to recognize that the fight against them, if some African were not involved in the fight on the side of French, the French people could do nothing.
So Africans sold out. Africans sold out.
Yeah. Because I don't know how you say.
They were turncoats. They sold out.
Because Béazin, he was not accepting the fact that Europeans will be controlling our citizens here. And when he started, many people were jealous. That is a natural feeling. They were envying the king for the place, the throne. Do you understand? His brothers. And, for example, when the French people shot on Béazin's soldiers, they are, what do you call bal? The thing that get out of the bullet could not enter their body.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what was happening. And they were able to kill French people just by word and just by using their teeth or the knives. Especially ladies that we call Amazons.
Yeah, the Amazons. Yeah.
But what happened is that, how come we shoot on people and the bullet do not enter their bodies. Okay? It is African who gave the secret to French people. By using this way, the bullet will enter their body. Do you understand? So
Yes.
they started killing the people of Dahomey. So this, we cannot say that Voodoo didn't contributed the fetish because, we will not say that Voodoo were used, but fetishes and talisman were used because Voodoo is not involved in destroying people. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
But kings have secrets of herbs, okay, and could use some natural secret power, black magic, to destroy enemies, and they used that against the settlers. They used that.
Is black magic voodoo?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not
Some
at
people-
all.
you gotta
But
ask-
kings have those black magic. They have some secrets that they can use to destroy their enemies. That is totally different from what we call voodoo. Do you understand?
Yes.
But when we want, for example, you, Danis, and I, we from Benin, and I know that we from the same father, and if you not the king, I am the one who should be on the throne. Now you are crowned, you are on the throne. And I want to take that position too, because I noticed that, since you are king now, you have too much power, you have too many wives, you have everything. There are those jealousy.
Right.
And it's like that me, I went to see French people to negotiate with them and give the secret. With this thing, when you shoot on people, they will die. When you do this, you do that. So that's like that. The king of Abomey was not fighting against only French people, but also his
own
brothers.
people.
That was the real problem. So this has nothing to do with voodoo. Will you tell me, for example, we believe in voodoo, we have this, and voodoo is powerful, and we are poor. But what you will not tell me that Jerusalem or something, everybody cannot be rich just because we believe in Jesus Christ. We can be rich. No, people who are Christian, they are poor.
True.
They are dying.
True.
They are starving. Though they are believing in Jesus, they are Muslim, they are Buddhist. No matter what you are talking about religion, you will see poor people among you. You will see rich people. This has nothing to do with voodoo. But when we talk about black magic, we can talk about fetish. Because, for example, he is the only one who knows how he made his fetish. But when we will talk about Hebioso, everybody knows, if you are in the community, how it should be done. Because it's just a temple, and before you settle the temple, you have to gather these leaves, and you pray. And before the praying, you have to gather other chiefs of the community. So that is totally different. But he has secrets, and he can create his own voodoo and commend it. That is black magic. You understand?
Right.
Yeah.
So the fetish isn't necessarily voodoo. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, the word voodoo is a vocabulary that I would like people to clearly understand.
Go ahead.
In
Go ahead.
our
Break it down.
everyday communication, we can use the word voodoo. And voodoo means, first of all, something that is beyond our human explanation. Do you understand?
Yes.
So, for example, we are here, you talk to the ocean stop moving. The wave stop, everything stop. You say, okay, move again, the ocean moves. It is surprising. You can say that, yeah, that is from voodoo. Have you ever seen voodoo? Have you ever seen miracle? Do you understand?
Yes.
So, if you have your fetish that you can comment and it acts, it's something that we cannot explain. Do you understand? People will call it voodoo. This is not scientific, and it's not, we cannot demonstrate this. Do you understand?
Yeah.
That's the first. But we have voodoo community, voodoo window, which is the heritage of our forefathers, and that has to do with 4 elements. That's all, not more.
Earth, wind.
Yes,
fire.
earth, wind, fire,
water.
and water. Finished. And that is principle of nature, and they are just spirits that communicate with God, the Almighty God. You understand?
Yes.
So voodoo can be seen like angels that governs individuals. But all this has to do with the same God, the Almighty God.
Yes.
That's it. That's it. Yeah.
Usiangalie. Usiangalie.
Yangalia hapa. Yaani au mikoa.